AD carries across the board, a tank matchup on the top side, 2 utility junglers with, well, supports. So very much focused around team fights, very much focused around scaling through. Notice Ignar's now made his way back to bot, which makes the dive much harder, the level 6 as well. Yeah, I mean, oh, Hans.
Caps in the mid lane, lightning crash coming out. Caps does still have the flash to try and avoid this, puts down the mom to try and call for a little bit of aid. Jackie's flash away, the level up! Just in time there for Jackie's, gets him over to level 7. Both the mid laners flashless now as Yike comes to help out Caps. True shot barrage going wide.
That was a tense moment. Now the Antonio looking for a fight.
Mickey stunned into the wall, has the flash, puts the ignite down onto the Antonio, who flashes away, as does Ignar. There's the first bit of CC, and Ignar is going to pay for Antonio's dive in with his life, and the Antonio might be soon to follow. G2 find their first kill and the first kill of the game.
I just want to confirm, the Antonio picked that fight, right? Yep. He was like, we're going in. Yeah, that was not the best of decisions, and now he's all on his lonesome in this bottom side.
And no TP to help verdict. Is it enough? Can he helicopter his way out of this one? The answer is an emphatic no. G2 get their second.
Now,
2 kills in the bottom lane for G2. The Drake secured as well by Yike. GIANTX, I mean, they might as well be seeing Deadpool and Wolverine with how leveled. Isn't really doing much because he's just matching Hansama in the mid lane. They both just clear the wave and then nothing happens, right? So across the board, G2 have had the benefit of the early game. The arrow there hitting onto Ignar. TP in as GIANTX are looking to dive at Cassante. Now, he does have the Crossfire Gauntlet and a Redemption, and even with the Nature's Grasp, I'm not sure he dies here. Gets the knockback, Ignar has to jump away. Yeah, okay, GIANTX, this was bloody awful. This was diabolical. GIANTX went for the dive, and all they're gonna do is die. Cass has so much free time in the top lane. The lightning crash coming out, Magnet Sword from Ignar as well, but Broken Blade has already found 2 out of the fight. They're gonna make it 3. It's a disaster for GIANTX, and G2 happily eat up their rewards. Ignar trying to get away, but Hansama's here on the chase. Ignar has a flash, but I don't think he escapes from that. 6-0 for G2.
I think GIANTX just got too impatient.
But does BB TP in, or did G2 let it go?
There's the TP behind. Daisy coming out as well as G2 want to take the fight. Keeper's verdict hits onto Yike, forces him away. Mickey puts down the Unbreakable. Redemption coming out as well as Broken Blade dives onto the backline. The Drake secured by Juhan. Hans trying to force Jackie's away and manages to do so. Caps now opening up as the dive comes back in from the Antonio, but he'll fall first. Juhan trying to put some saplings down to slow G2 on their advance. In the end, it's a Drake for a kill. GIANTX taking the Dragon. Chilling to collapse. He's got 1 ward behind him, and I don't think Jackie's knows. As you can see, the Antonio struggling in terms of gold. Hansama has the Redemption, the TP coming in as well by GIANTX, but the Antonio, I'm sorry, mate, I'm not sure this is where you want to be today. The rest of his team are trying to collapse, but there's 2 tanks on their way, and immediately they decide not to join him in dying. There's 2 quick kills to G2.
They really did just punish the positional mistakes from GIANTX, sorry, from start to finish. Now they'll start the Baron. A bit ambitious, you could argue, but they know they have the gold advantage. Why not force the fight?
Jackie's going to TP in. Forward across the wall. Hansama still on the Baron right now. They jump in with the root caller immediately. They dive onto Juhan. He's pulled back. And in the middle of the Redemption, he finds none. Patrick and Ignar forced away by Daisy. The Antonio does still have a flank position.
Man, the Antonio just went through right as the engage went off, and now G2 back in the pit. The Antonio needs the Poppycopter, but it's still not off cooldown.
Mickey jumps forward with the Unbreakable. The Antonio now looking for that flank position. No smite for GIANTX. Keeper's verdict only hits onto the support. Patrick kept at bay by Daisy. Magnet Storm forward. Maybe Broken Blade will fall, but the Trigger C will keep him alive for just a second. Jackie's diving in, trying to take down Hansama. He flashes and is met with an arrow to the face. The Antonio chased out by Caps. Patrick, the last man standing. There's a tree coming to try and help him out, but so far, GIANTX have only been going timber.
It won't be a deathless run for G2, but it's damn near perfection as GIANTX fall to the...
14,000 gold lead, but no melee minions, so they can't step any closer to this tower yet. It's the small things. You got to find those tiny bits of hope for GIANTX, but the next wave is now about to arrive. Control ward in the bush. As GIANTX decide, it seems to not engage as G2 push up towards that turret range. The inhibitor, the next target. reigning champions. And Antonio brings out the Poppycopter, knocks back two, they'll go for Yike. The Magnet Storm engaged into Nature's Grasp, and Yike will fall first. TP behind by Broken Blade, but the rest of G2 are a mile away. Can Broken Blade survive for a year? Yes, he can. Of course he can. He's Cassante. What am I talking about? He could survive on the fountain. For all it's worth right now, GIANTX go 1-for-1 in the trade in the end. G2 can still push forward. Hansama no flash. Patrick trying to put the damage down across the side, but can't find too much more.
TP flank coming in from the Antonio.
The inhibitor tower is going to be down before he can arrive to the battle. He'll look for Caps, he'll knock him back. Broken Blade goes in, lightning crash from Jackie's. Is it enough? The Antonio already down. Juhan short to follow him. It's a quick trip to an early grave for GIANTX, and with the ammo connecting, it might be all done for G2. Only two Nexus towers stand in their way, Jackie's and Ignat. It would be a Herculean performance to pull this one off, but so far you'd be more like Sisyphus, constantly trying to make the plays, but that boulder keeps rolling back down in your face. G2 will close it out. Jackie's and Ignat forced back to the fountain. Jackie's doesn't even find solace there. 18 kills to 2, 26 minutes on the clock, 17,000 gold ahead. I think G2 may be angry today.
That was a demolition from G2. From start to finish, they get the early lead. They refuse to let up. 8 kills onto Hansama. Caps eventually decided to get involved in the fights, but he wasn't needed. G2 had it handled the whole way through.
It was a one-sided affair, and GIANTX are going to have to rapidly go back to the drawing board as we head to a break. We'll see you in a bit for Game 2.
Essentially, you got push in mid, push on boss. You should, well, eventually that push on bot, so you're going to be in a position where you should be able to. They would have liked to kind of build that timing window where they had 10 minutes, say, before they really had to fight at the dragon and could trade for turrets on side, but I think you're going to find Ignar. We'll just back away.
I think Ignar was, at least mine was game relevant
lose
originally.
yourself.
Also, yeah, you're the rapper amongst us, Vedi. I've had your Christmas gifts, they're very well wrapped.
It's almost as good as my Gwen joke from yesterday.
Oh, true.
Caps in some trouble.
Yeah, Juhan's there, lands the stun, doesn't quite get the passive down, but Caps, even with a flash, touches the Mystic Shot, is able to just survive. Yike coming in from the side as well. I'm not sure he wants much more of this. He does manage to land onto Jackie's, who still has a flash. Yike now hits the level 6 off the minions, but he's gonna die to the Pyroclasm. Juhan takes the kill, Yike overstepping.
I'm surprised that he thought he had the damage to win that.
Overstays, because this is something G2 do a lot, which is have Mickey reset very early and try and get him out onto the map first, but it does leave Hansama vulnerable at times with Patrick.
Has to use the cleanse.
Nasty trade there. Patrick really couldn't do much about it.
Mickey.
Yeah, Patrick's dead. He's got the flash, but Mickey will knock him into the wall, and then with a hail of blades and a hammer shot combo. GIANTX currently grouped up around those grubs. Broken Blade has the ability to jump in. There's the ammo. Oh, just in the gap. Nature's Grass coming out as well. Ignat tanks it up for the moment. Jackie's putting some damage down, but Broken Blade dives in, and Ignat almost dies. Yike flashes for him, can't quite get him. Mickey down to half HP as well. Yike going back in with a twisted advance, but he's been abandoned by the rest of G2, and the flash forward was a flash to his demise. GIANTX find one.
Feels like Yike just set.
But highlighting that he has been a little bit disconnected. Either way, I think in that fight specifically, that wasn't entirely his fault, to his credit, but mainly because he was following up the criticism. With the Blade of the Ruin King completed, he has some very serious kill threat in that matchup as well.
I think the first item being completed across the board is a good setup for G2 here.
They look for the engage, the arrow going down as well, and Juhan is locked up and doesn't have a moment to breathe before he dies. Ignar will follow suit as G2 find 2.
I mean, the coordination that we criticized G2 before 4, that was a great example of it. Just very well executed, the Hex Flash from Mickey.
Jackie's can buffer the Arcane Shift away. The Antonio, is his fate sealed here? I don't quite think so. Broken Blade will dash back to the Soul Unbound.
Good timing window from G2 to punish as they're going to look for Jackie's again. Knock
Jackie
up,
still has
can't get to the
flash
wall.
here. Arcane shifts away. Mickey falls first. Flash away, but Caps is there for the chase. I find a couple of autos will put Jackie's in his place. G2 playing all over the map as Broken Blade continues to dive the Antonio on the bottom side. The Rift Herald secured as well. The Antonio trying to flash away. Broken Blade snaps back. And we'll get some more damage on this tower as the Antonio has to limp to safety.
agency this unit gives in this matchup, and it all comes back to what the AD was talking about, what we've talked about for GIANTX. Their formula for draft is very to your own hands, becomes a lot harder. Just because you don't have those playmaking tools.
But I think that's what GX are trying to do now with the playmakers.
Magnustorm immediately onto Mickey. He tries to jump back in, but GIANTX have found a pick. Ignar going in, as you say, that playmaking.
At least try and defend now against Broken Blade, because you've got numbers advantage on the map.
Broken Blade for a second there, I think, was debating whether he takes the Rift Herald out, tries to charge away. Juhan is closing in on him. Mortal Steel is going to do a little bit of damage as Juhan falls to half HP. Broken Blade dashing in, but he can't land the Q3. Juhan down to about 250 HP. Call of the Forge God coming out. Broken Blade will step to the side of it, but they still manage to lock him down for a second. The True Shot Barrage coming out as well in the end. Broken Blade falls to the blaze. Juhan takes him, but Mickey, Flash, Ignite, and a buckler to the back is enough to kill the brand.
I love that GIANTX are trying to force these plays on the map. They get a good pick onto Mickey. They are able to punish. Juhan is in the area.
GIANTX have they've done a good job of getting a ward just outside of the pit. On both the Baron plays, they have had vision of it being started, even though G2 have tried to be sneaky around it. And now with the TP coming in, the Antonio has the Call of the Forge God. Jackie's is yeeted the hell out of there. Call of the Forge God lands a double man knock up, but the Baron's already secured. And GIANTX can't find the engage. No flash on Ignar makes it very tricky for them to get in. Oh, they go back in, flash forward by Yike, but immediately he dies. Broken Blade, can he steal some fates here? Dashes back with the Soul Unbound, and GIANTX have a man advantage. Juhan still has his ultimate, the Pyroclasm a possibility. In the end, the Baron goes over to G2, but Yike does fall.
Yike going a bit too far forward, and now GIANTX again will get another dragon for themselves.
Sole point for GIANTX, whether they can survive 5 minutes further to get towards that Ocean Soul, and whether they'll be in a position to fight it at that time still remains a question. Hans Summer flashing forward underneath the turret. Juhan caught out down towards the bottom side as well. G2 find 2 more, and now GIANTX are at a numbers disadvantage on this Baron push. The wave shoving in, Broken Blade trying to dodge away with the Magnustorm coming in. The True Shot Barrage has connected as well. Broken Blade dashes back in. The fate sealed on Jackie won't give him enough of a shield to get the kill in response. Broken Blade dies. G2 will take a tier 3 in mid and a tier 3 in bot.
GIANTX doing what they can to get something back, a foothold into this game, but G2 will not give them a moment's breath. They secure the mid inhibitor, they set their sights on the bot one, but they don't want to overstay their way. Welcome, Ignar and Antonio are here. The Ornn ultimate, I believe, is almost off cooldown.
Super Minions pushing in bot and mid, and shortly you have to feel they'll have them in top as well. Cap's keeping 2 waves shoved at once. Jackie's trying to answer him. There's still a whole item disparity between those 2 mid laners. Mickey stepping forward. Call of the Forge God not available for the Antonio, but the Magnustorm is for Ignar. Keeper's verdict out by Mickey. The inhibitor tower falls. G2 start to retreat. Jackie's unable to join his team as of yet, and no real engage available.
Looks like it's going to end in G2's favor once more.
Double supers in the top lane. Be joined by their comrades in mid. TP away from the Antonio. Realized as he was going to be collapsed on. Keeper's verdict coming out. Ninja's Grasp hits one. Juhan able to dodge away from it. And Mickey's already down to 200 HP. The Call of the Forge God hits the backline. Pyroclasm there to follow it up. And Hans Summer might die, and in the blaze he does. The dive in from Broken Blade won't be enough to keep GIANTX at bay. The Antonio face plants the wall, and GIANTX will get 1 kill. They still have to try and delay the game.
Back out, but yes, you get a kill, but you're already losing in Nexus turrets as well. It's still kind of G2 slowly closing this game out.
Hey, but now the Baron is back alive, and GIANTX, unfortunately, the downside of having all of this quote-unquote free farm is that it does mean that you don't really have any control over the map, making it hard to contest this objective.
Nice attempt from Jackie to see if he can steal it away.
Stepping quite far forward here. Broken Blade having that fate sealed. It's a little bit precarious of a situation to be in. GIANTX trying to clear out the wave. There's the Call of the Forge God from behind. The Antonio found the flank. They get onto Caps and they'll shut him down. Mickey the next target for Patrick, and on the backline, the stopwatch will stop the face seal from coming out. Bullet timing invested by Patrick, but Hans Summer's already killed off the brand. Patrick starts to open up, and he's got a 2-level disadvantage, and a big disadvantage when it comes to HP as well. It looked hopeful for a second for GIANTX, but G2 will wipe them away. You can take Caps, but you cannot take the win. 2-0, G2.
Confident play from G2 once more. the combo could not work for GIANTX, and G2 just play out smarter on the map and make sure they keep control of this game.
Ultimately, just the macro difference, I think, is on full display right now. G2 know how to play the mid-game, better lane assignments. They know how to play through their pushing lanes as well. Think about how difficult it was for GIANTX to even cross-map with Broken Blade, creating so much pressure on the side lane.
Angle, I guess, but it sounds really rough.
I have enough top laners next to me to talk me through this matchup on top lane and what we can expect from this
Okay,
year.
so Rumble is definitely gonna pressure out
That
this
as
guy.
well with a flash Q from Mickey, so Yike now looking to maybe make that play mid.
Gonna jump onto Patrick first though. Shattering Strike for the stun. He'll be okay. Underneath the tower, as you say, in the mid lane, Jackie's is dead. Pretty much. There we are. The final order from Caps is enough to take him out. With no flash, there wasn't really much of an escape
For the G2.
Nicely done. The fact that now you can get that control in the mid lane for Caps is going to be great. Get that little bit of an advantage with the Vamp Scepter so you can trade heavily, but Yike now finds the Antonio. 6 for Rumble.
Yeah, Antonio has the equalizer, as you say, but Broken Blade pretty tanky already, and the equalizer does not live up to its name here. Broken Blade able to tank it up.
Broken Blade, they just solo out the Antonio to set up for the play. Now again, Ignar trying to cover mid, but Mickey's is also here.
That Caps coming in, Ignar there for the cover. Caps flashes over. Maybe was looking for the Buster shot back, didn't land it. And yeah, Caps invests his splash there for not too much in the end.
I think you're right, Medic. I think his idea was, oh, if I flash over, let's go back to base.
Back towards the top lane, the Antonio struggled a little bit in this lane. Obviously, there's been a tension from Yike, but also the fact he wasn't able to get a good back timer to buy Sork boots means that Broken Blade doesn't have to worry too much about his magic damage. You can get that single bit of magic resist with a null magic mantle, and there's no penetration coming out from the Antonio. It becomes a lot easier for Broken Blade to survive in that lane as we see a dive in the bot side. Twisted advance going in by Juhan. Mob, well, she's rung the dinner bell, but I'm not sure anyone's feeding yet. As Yike is able to force Ignar and Patrick away with a trigger seed on Daisy.
The Antonio's roam down in towards the mid lane from Broken Blade. On the bottom half, Hansama going to get a couple more for himself. So yes, you get an extra grub as GIANTX, but you spend a lot of time there. Now the TP onto the Antonio.
TP in by Broken Blade. The Antonio does have a flash, the equalizer coming out, but he's torn it up, and Hans Summer and Broken Blade will melt him down. No escape for the Rumble. Hans Summer gets his first of the game.
I think that was a really room somewhere else on the map for G2 to potentially put pressure. G2 and Mickey can move into the bot side river, start threatening this mid tower, maybe even convert that pressure into a dragon. Instead, they might just go
Flash
for a fight.
forward with the quickness, with the charm. Redemption comes out. Caps able to jump across the side. Knocks back Jackie's with the Buster shot. Caps is so low. The trigger seed saving him for a second. The Magnet Storm coming out from Mickey as well, but Jackie's has already found the first kill. Juhan falling low. Mickey being opened up on. He'll flash across the wall, but Patrick will chase him with a flash of his own. Hunt Summer sliding in like Tony Hawk across the wall. Yikes, surviving with 30 HP. And now Patrick's on the wrong side of the rift. Daisy going to chase him out. And it looks like he's going to sacrifice himself to the tower. Not sure if anyone's hit him recently. Don't think it will be an execute. In the end, it will be Yike picking up the kill because, of course, Daisy got that auto down. Down towards the bottom side. Broken Blade can shadow him, does have that hero's entrance. Tower falls in top. Caps jumps onto the Antonio, and I'm not sure the Antonio has a way out of this one. Caps cleans him up for his second kill of the game, 7-2 now, and a 6,000 gold lead for G2.
I mean, it's the story of the series, right? G2's about to go 3-0 towers up in the early game.
Hans gonna get rooted, cleanses, Juhan underneath the tower, lightning crash, Hans needs a hero, and here comes Broken Blade, but Hans Summer is a mile away, the redemption coming out, Jackie's falling low, Mickey there with the Magnet Storm, and Hans Summer able to escape. Juhan gonna start to retreat because he knows his team's days are numbered. G2 collapse, they'll take Patrick, they'll take Jackie's, the Antonio's already dead, and Caps is still pushing bots.
G2 brought a literal Goliath to the fight, and it works out beautifully for them. Hansama able to...
G2 and things just are not panning out the way that they want every single fight. It's going to be another pick here, I think. Do they have the damage?
It's going to be Jackie's joining the fight, but Juhan's already down to about 200 HP. Ignite here for a bit of shielding. Dances in with the battle dance. Broken Blade falling low, will fall to Jackie's first. And now Mickey needs to try and get the hell out of dodge. The trigger seed on him buys him a second, but it's not going to buy enough. 2 over to Jackie's. The Antonio now collapsing on Hans Summer, and I'm not sure he wins out this fight. Hans Summer doesn't have the flash, but can just dash across the wall to the relative safety of the river. earlier on. As you say, Rob, don't think Dragon stacking is really going to be the name of the game. There's no wave in the top lane, so G2 can't pressure two towers at once, but they can definitely take the tier 2 in mid. The root caller lands into the Mega Storm, and here comes the hero. He's fresh for the fight. GIANTX forced away. Jackie's ticking to the ignite. Equalizer down. Jackie's just about survives on the backline, but G2 will use the pressure in mid to open up the base.
It's GIANTX immediately forced to retreat to the safety of their fountain. 21 minutes in, and G2 will crack the base of GIANTX. It's a 10k gold lead already, and GIANTX have barely been able to...
for GIANTX.
GIANTX have a tiny bit of vision in that top lane try, but with the TP coming in, I don't really think they'll be able to challenge this one too effectively. G2 are calling GIANTX to the battle. They have a control ward in, but immediately Ignat pays the price for putting it down. Mum is not going to be able to save you from this situation, GIANTX. G2 take the Baron, they'll take the kill, they'll take a 12,000 gold lead. I think they want to take the series.
It isn't really fair to moonwalk.
Way too cool from G2. Broken Blade flanking here as GIANTX try and defend. Ignat back up to bolster the defenses, but even his contributions don't do much in the face of G2, who continue to march forward. Nature's Glass coming out, Mickey tanks it, Caps takes a shot as well, but buffers out his jump. The hero's entrance from Broken Blade will separate the two teams. Ignat forced to dance away. Broken Blade flashes and lands the two-man taunt. Patrick has to flash away. Caps jumps forward once again with that rocket leap, but can't find purchase on the fight. Instead, they find purchase on the inhib, and that will fall. Top and mid now down. The Baron remains for 2 minutes time, and G2 are looking to end the series right here, right now. The first Nexus tower is laid to ruins. Broken Blade almost the same. The Trigger C just in time to save his life. Will G2 continue to advance? Will GIANTX find a way to win out the fight? No TP for Broken Blade means that likely G2 will allow GIANTX to live to fight another day. Perhaps mistimed recalls here. The Twisted Advance coming out. Yike stays around. GIANTX looking to collapse. Caps waits across the wall. The TP behind as well on that control ward. Hunt Summer can open up. Has that lightning crash, and Juhan's already down to half HP. The Antonio coming for the flank, and Juhan will fall first. The Antonio looking for something, but he can't find it, and the rest of his team has left him to the wolves that are G2. It looked like G2 would need to reset, but GIANTX walked into their gaping maws. And now with Baron remaining for a minute and a half, I think it's all done.
You don't want to throw punches at a man that's walking away, and GIANTX did just that, and G2 came back angry. Wave in top now. G2 want to make this the quickest game of the series.
The lower bracket run, a G2 speciality. Here they're looking to start it in emphatic style. GIANTX, Patrick, Jackie's and Ignat left to try and find a way back in, but Mickey is having none of it. He puts them back into the fountain, and GIANTX will be taking a long vacation. G2, in dominant fashion, will take the 3-0 and meet up with BDS on Friday.
I mean, if you're a G2 fan, you really couldn't ask for much more. A very clear bounce back from their defeat against MDK, and they just dominated their opposition. Clean play from start to finish.
You can vote for your player of the series at LEC on X, Broken Blade, Hansama, or Mickey X.
All good options. I think